My sister Rachel asked me to sleep with her husband so they could have a baby naturally, the way nature intended. I froze, confused, thinking maybe I'd misheard. They smiled like it was a gift being offered. My husband slammed doors and left for his parents. The tiny pink shirt in my laundry basket suddenly felt like a curse. I used to believe family came first. Now I was a vessel, a DNA donor for Rachel's dream, not her sister. And the consequence? I agreed to hormone injections in her marble bathroom while she whispered plans into her fertility tracker. Rachel kept calling me our golden gene pool, planning conception dates like birthday parties. I wanted to scream, but instead, I nodded. My husband texted less, and when he did, it was logistics trash day, the dog's meds. I clutched that pink shirt after every injection, like it was proof I was already a mom. Rachel just saw it as inventory. She once folded it and said, "That'll be ours soon too." One night, Rachel told me, "It's not sex, it's science with skin on it." I laughed then cried. She watched without blinking. My mother said I owed her this after everything. I wasn't sure what everything meant. All I knew was Rachel never once held me when I had morning sickness. She just handed me another ovulation stick. When I heard Rachel laughing to a friend, saying she liked being Dave's variety, I dropped a glass. She called me familiar, obedient, fertile. The tiny pink shirt crumpled in my hand like a funeral flower. I sat through hormone injections thinking she loved me, but I was just plan B with benefits. My marriage had already crumbled. My mother cheered her on. The ovulation charts and wellness supplements were weapons in disguise. Then I knew, I was a pawn in a fantasy, not a sister in crisis. I told Rachel I needed time. She smiled with that vacant warmth and said, "You're going to sleep with Dave and give us a baby, naturally, the way nature intended." I snapped, slapped the fertility tracker from her hand. She blinked, then whispered, "You're ruining everything." That night, my husband didn't come home. The silence screamed louder than her demands. Desperate for grounding, I called my best friend, Mala. She said, "You're being trafficked with family permission." I wanted to disagree, but her words sank into my skin. Still, I couldn't stop wondering, what if Rachel was right? What if I owed her this? The twist came during a lunch with Dave. He leaned in and said, "She's done this before, with her college roommate." My stomach flipped. He showed me texts Rachel promising money, status, legacy. I realized then, I wasn't her first surrogate sister, just her next. I walked out, dizzy, eyes burning. My family didn't want my love, they wanted my body. At the family meeting, I stood up, voice trembling, and said, "No, Rachel, I'm not your incubator." Her face warped with rage. She screamed about betrayal. For months, CPS visits shattered our peace, and I watched my daughter cry while strangers asked if I hit her. Then Dave broke down under oath, admitting everything: Rachel's manipulation, the lies. Texts, voice notes, and clinic staff exposed the scheme. Rachel was ordered into psychiatric evaluation. My mother moved in with her. They called me cruel, but in court, I held up the pink shirt and said, "This belongs to my child, not a contract." The judge nodded. I won custody back the next day. My husband and I still live apart. Trust broke somewhere between the hormone syringes and Rachel's sisterhood. But I'm rebuilding, not for them, for her. My daughter wears that tiny pink shirt now, stained with spaghetti sauce, not shame. And me, I check the locks twice, but I sleep, alone, free, whole.